Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick.
This is a less hairy Justin.
Welcome back to another test flight.
Yeah,
It's
about time we had another one.
Absolutely. It's been a hot minute since the last one of these. So way back in my old house, we did one of these where we had a go at flying some of the lists that we love to talk about here on the channel because we just talk about things. It's theoretical, but doesn't matter unless you actually take a look at how it actually functions on the table, Justin.
Yeah, but this time it's a digital table.
It is a digital table, that's right. Tabletop Simulator is a really cool way of playing X-Wing online. This is something that my patrons have been bugging me to play for quite some time now, and I finally have had a few game against a few different patrons, had a game against you now, and I love it. I can strongly recommend it. I'll actually make a separate video talking about how to do all of that. But for the time being, yes, just to sort of showcase this, we recorded this particular gameplay on Tabletop Simulator. Me and Justin decided to test a couple of new lists. Me with one of the new factions, and Justin with actually an existing list that we've done before, but a bit tweaked. Why don't we talk about your list first?
Okay. So it's still Null, Quickdraw, and Kylo Ren?
Yeah, previously you had, what's the guy that hides behind rocks?
Blackout.
Blackout, that's right, that's the one.
Yeah.
Blackout was an interesting choice, but now that I've flown against you a few times with Kylo Ren with hate, it's rough. It's really hard to fly against.
He just keeps surviving.
It's powerful, it's consistent. I absolutely think for meta play, it's the right way to go for sure. Plus, you've got a 12-point bid in this list now, which is really nice.
Yeah. Now, the main reason I didn't choose the CIS is actually I'm still not happy with that list.
Yeah, still thinking about the Vulture swarms, that kind of thing.
I'm thinking I might change one of, because at the present moment my list is 2 Belbalubs and 3 Vulture droids. I'm actually considering changing one of the Belbalubs for a Hyena Bomber when it comes out.
Yeah. I think when the Hyena Bomber comes out, it's going to be very interesting in terms of list building. Plus, learning how to use Tabletop Simulator, trying to avoid cumbersome lists is probably a good idea when you first start out.
Yeah.
Strongly recommend it. I, the first few times, just ran 2-ship lists, which I can strongly recommend. The list I flew was actually a Vulture Swarm, because at least one of us had to do it.
Yeah.
Mine has 6 Vulture droids, 5 of them being Trade Federation drones with energy shells and munitions failsafe. One of them was DFS 311 with energy shells. And a Theathan Outlaw autopilot on the Belbalub with Kraken.
No, I actually really like this.
I really like this too. As you're going to see, didn't necessarily perform all that well, but I definitely think there are ways that I flew it that weren't really capitalizing on the way it wants to fly. Vulture droids have to commit to the way they fly. They don't have the one forward.
Yeah.
And with Alpha Strikes, this kind of list, that's actually quite detrimental. So you've got to be careful with that. I love the fact that these guys are all Initiative 1 and fly at the same time. I love Kraken. Kraken does so much work for 10 points. It's not funny.
Oh, yeah. You would take that any day of the week.
Absolutely. And DFS 311 is just a great value engine. It cost 4 more points than a regular Trade Federation drone. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
It basically means once or twice during a game, you'll make sure those energy shells work.
Having 2 calculate tokens on a single ship just feels really good.
It's important sometimes, for sure. The flexibility is the key thing there. And using that in combination with Kraken, making sure you balance out those resources is something I think I still have to learn about. As you'll see during the game, I don't think I capitalize off that the best I could, but I am excited to keep trying this and keep workshopping it. I don't think I need to really change anything. I'm pretty happy with it.
I think you need to remember your munitions failsafe.
Need to remember my munitions failsafe and my Kraken as well. Let's actually have a look at the gameplay and see what happened. This was our setup just here. We basically set up in opposing corners with clusters of vultures on either side of this debris cloud. Over on your side, you basically had a tight-knit cluster around these rocks so you could sort of fly in and outmaneuver my ships.
Yeah, that was the idea. I had Null on one side and then Quickdraw and Kylo next to each other.
Makes the most sense. Null needs to fly by himself at his own initiative. I mean, so does Quickdraw as well, but I think that was fine. Just forcing my vultures to try and maneuver around those rocks was probably the right call to make.
Yeah.
By the way, you took 3 gas clouds. I took 3 debris fields. basically you have aces and I have ships that just want to just charge right through the stuff. I don't want to land on rocks and not be able to shoot. Basically, the gas clouds in general work better for your list. The debris in general work better for my list. I can just charge vultures through gas clouds and debris. I don't really care. And you want to be able to convert those dice.
And if you really wanted to, if you wanted to put the grappling struts on your droids, you could also then just land on those.
I could. This list isn't really about doing that. No. I feel like that would be in lieu of the energy shells. And it is absolutely something worth thinking about. Just thinking about how this game went, I mean, if I could have flown around the debris cloud in the center of the board, it may have mattered later in the game. However, the energy shells allowed me to take a few pot shots at Kylo.
And Quickdraw.
Indeed. Yeah, Quickdraw went down. Kylo didn't, unfortunately. I think that was one of the key things that really made me suffer during this game. Basically, you took your guys all the way around to the edge of the board and brought them in slowly. And if you have a look at the maneuvers in this first round, I went too straight, bringing everything parallel to that debris cloud. I think this was absolutely a mistake. I think I should have gone 4 straight with the Vulture droids here on the right, which would have allowed me to turn everyone in and be able to pull range. If you can see here in the next round where they all land, I only had range with the Vulture droids and that Belbalub on Kylo, which was still a decent situation, but not enough to sink enough damage in at that point.
And then Kylo just sort of shrugged the damage off and just started hammering them.
Pretty much. I mean, you did this S-loop here, which was a bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
It didn't really punish you that hard. I should have punished you more for this.
Yeah.
I think that, honestly, me not capitalizing on my positioning enough and you using that S-loop in the wrong spot with both of our key mistakes, I just feel like your list was better suited to what happened after that.
Yeah, I still need to work out my spatial awareness for this game. I thought that I was going to be...
It's kind of weird on Tabletop Simulator, isn't it? It is a little bit weird. Look, like anything, the advice I give to anyone starting out with Tabletop Simulator is to use your known quantities, have a look at the board, compare the bases of the ships and the spacing of the rocks. That's how you eyeball maneuvers. And yeah, it was a slight mistake, but it didn't really punish you that much, having said all of that. And ultimately what happened is, yes, I was able to bring all those Vulture droids in, and the cool thing was that those Vulture droids on the right-hand side were able to move in and take out Quickdraw without a lot of fuss.
No, that annoyed me.
That would have sucked. But what happened was, when everything got in close, you were able to use your numbers against me. Bumping into my ships actually wasn't such a bad thing for you because it eliminated my shots against you. And towards the end of the game, we had a situation where it was one Vulture and one Belbalub versus Kylo and Null. There was a really good turn where Kylo got to focus and boost into range 1 of the Belbalub.
Yeah, that felt so good.
He had 4 health left and Kylo just eviscerated him.
Yeah.
I remember we were having a chat about that as it happened, and I think, like... The thing that really pushed it over the edge in terms of decision-making was the fact that you already had shown it the dark side, and just getting 1 crit through was going to be so crippling to that Belbalub. And that was pretty much over from that point. I don't think there was any major swings in terms of the dice odds. It all felt pretty fair to me.
Yeah.
Getting all those extra dice out with the energy shells was excellent, but the problem is, as all the ships flew together towards the center of the game, I couldn't recharge anything. Which is either the ships that could have recharged didn't have actions, or the ones that did have actions had to fire that turn and needed their calculate tokens. So if you take a look at where the situation in the game went towards the end, Kylo and Null just had all the agency to take control here.
Yeah.
I managed to get the shields off of Null, which actually made him fly after my Vulture and Belbalub, which was very handy for me.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think it...
It's interesting. In the last round of movement, which you can see here on the screen, my Vulture droid was in a very good position to basically counter whatever Null could do. Ultimately, you chose to do a 1 hard left here, which was the only real way to deal with my Vulture no matter what I did, and I did a Talon roll to the right because I knew that was pretty much the only thing you could do to counter me.
Yeah.
And Kylo was able to make short order of the Vulture droid. But if that had happened in a situation where I had just 1 more ship to capitalize off of it, it would have been handy. Ultimately, you just took off Vultures in key moments, and that's ultimately what won you the game. And I don't think there were any crazy odds in terms of how you shot me with dice. You took the right opportunities, and that's what won you the game. Yeah. Plus, we're still learning these lists. I feel like I could have done a lot better with these vultures, but I'm not unhappy with the way I flew with them. It's just a different kind of thing. And
Swarm lists are interesting.
They are really, really interesting. Actually, since us playing this game, I went to a tournament at one of our local shops, and I saw a couple of vulture swarms and a couple of tie swarms, like flying against each other.
Yeah, I saw that as well. That looked hectic. Really cool.
It's really hectic, and it involves a lot of key decision making. And you can see here, like, it's very clear to me what decisions I should have made in the right circumstances. Energy shells. Let's have a quick chat about this, because it really, really hurt not having the opportunity to reload these.
Yeah.
They were also... They cost 4 points, and they eliminated one of your green dice pretty consistently. I got those range 3 shots and gave me an extra dice. To me, that feels actually okay for 4 points, swinging the dice math in my favour by 2 dice.
Yeah.
Especially against aces. I mean, maybe it could have done more damage to Kylo. Maybe I should have actually just gone for Quickdraw first. Maybe that was my key mistake there. I don't feel like that's bad for 4 points. And that was the consistent flaw that I was getting on them. That actually feels really, really good. So ultimately, I'm actually really happy with this list. I don't think there's a lot I would change here. I think when the hyena bombers come out, there's a conversation around a lot of this. But yeah. What about your list? How do you feel it went?
I've been playing this list for a good couple of games now. Over the past couple of months. I think it was 2 games before I had Quickdraw without the shield upgrade, and people said to me, why aren't you using shield upgrade? And I went, well, that's just silly.
It makes sense now with the point structure you have. I got to ask, how is Kylo going against like your Vader and your Suntir and that kind of stuff?
Well, I haven't versed Vader or Suntir yet.
That's lucky. That is really lucky. Man, I played a tournament the other day with Guri. 3 out of my 4 matches had Initiative 6 matchups. It sucked.
Oh.
It sucked. And yeah, Kylo against Vader seemed like a pretty rough matchup. Kylo against all his Initiative 1 guys, with the agency he has to shrug off all that damage, those force tokens just recharging, I feel like it's probably not the best matchup for me. Having said that, Quickdraw is a great matchup for all these vultures. Because I don't care if you have extra shots, I've got ships to spare.
Yeah.
If you have higher priority targets, Quickdraw is much, much more desirable. And maybe that's a key thing with your list. Maybe just having that flexibility of having Kylo and Quickdraw alongside each other to handle the different situations is quite strong.
Yeah, you're either shooting one or you're shooting the other one, and either way doesn't feel exactly great.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I feel like even if I went for Quickdraw, Kylo could have just really punished me while I was doing that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lose-lose situation. And yeah, look, ultimately you lined up those shots, you just kept hammering me consistently, and that's what did it.
Yeah.
2 very interesting lists. I think they're both equally deserving of workshopping. Not sure about the vultures though. If you guys have tried these things out, let us know. Let us know how they've gone for you.
Yeah.
Because I find this stuff very, very interesting. I really want to see what we can do with the separatists as well as the First Order. Although we have a pretty good knowledge now of the First Order meta. It's pretty open and you can do this kind of stuff, which is just great. It's the kind of stuff I love to see.
Yeah, everyone being able to fly so many different choices just feels good.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Reddit. Please consider supporting the Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our existing patrons. And in the near future, we will be having some games with those patrons. Maybe even record a test flight video with them. We will see.
So, maybe have a look at Patreon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Links for that all down in the description. We'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.